All right. Hi, everyone. Hello and welcome to our roundtable for today. We are still missing Peter. We hope that you will be able to join us in a couple of moments. He has problems accessing the stream, but I'm here with David, Mama J, and Philip today. And I'm excited to have you all here because we currently have the doors open to the Medium Writing Academy. And I would actually love both of you to talk about your experiences inside the program so that everyone who is thinking of joining us, joining the community, gets a better understanding of how it is to work with us and how it will be to work with you amazing guys inside the community. But I'd love to get started by asking you all to introduce yourselves. And I would actually love to ask Mama J first, but I think it makes more sense for Philip to start because he is on the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Philip, give
Awesome.
the audience a
So,
quick overview.
yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sinem's business partner and fiance, and we're running the business together while she's doing all the coaching, all the showing up, all the writing. I like to see myself as the person in the background, at least for the Medium Writing Academy. I helped her create the landing pages, the courses, but with the Write Build Scale program, which you can get access to if you join the Write Build Scale Mastermind, or if you join the Media Writing Academy community experience, then you will also be working with me a lot. I'm the kind of person, and I think David and Mama J have experienced that. I'm the kind of person who likes to keep you accountable to make sure that you are implementing on the things that you learn and that you think big, that you turn your online writing into a digital business. I'm super happy to have Mama J, which I will maybe call JB from time to time because I somehow got stuck to that, and David with us because the two of them are really phenomenal online writers and entrepreneurs. Working with them was such a joy. They show up to all the sessions and they implement. And that's probably the number one advice that I can give to you. No matter if you're working with Sina, myself, or anyone else, please implement on the things that you are learning, because implementation is what makes all the difference. And I would say, ladies first. JB, tell us a little bit about yourself, what writing does for your business, and where you are right now.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here. It's like really fun. It feels like we're all together in there having cocktails. So I'm Mama J, I'm Jacqueline Hollows, and I have been writing now for a while. I never thought I was a writer. I actually started writing on Medium in 2022 and wrote anything, just wrote whatever came to mind. And I built up a bit of a following because I have a background working in prisons. And so I'm sort of known in my own community. So I built up quite a bit of a following and I found it quite easy. And then I got to the point where I thought I was struggling to get past that 1,000 followers. And what I realized was what got me there isn't going to get me further. And so I started to look for, well, what do you need to do to get further? And that's when I met Sinem and her amazing course, and I jumped on that, and then I really haven't stopped since then. So I've been around a while. Writing for me, I don't write so much on Medium anymore because I use writing in all spheres of my business. I'm a content creator. I have my social enterprise and I have coaching programs, but I use my writing to create content as well. So what I really learned from the Medium Writing Academy and from hanging around with these guys and being in Write Build Scale is that you don't have to pigeon yourself into one place. You can actually use those skills in anything. So I use the skills I learned on Medium Writing Academy to create my courses, to write copy for create my online courses, write copy for sales pitches, and even write applications for speaking events. So it's amazing. And why I love being here is because no matter as being an entrepreneur, you might not even think of yourself as an entrepreneur yet, but you become an entrepreneur because you start to see how you can use the skills to carve out your niche in the world and do what you are meant to be doing. And you might not know what that is yet, but you get to find out through working with these guys and through the great people that are in the academy.
Yeah, thank you so much, JV, for giving us an overview. I would actually love for you to dive a bit into the speaking you've done recently as well in a couple of minutes, because I think this is really interesting. And for those of you who just tuned in, what I personally love most about the Right Build Skill community is the diversity we have in there, to be honest, because we have people who have thought of themselves as writers for, since their childhood, for years and years. We have people in there who are scared to publish their very first piece, but who have phenomenal experience in other areas of their businesses, of their lives, experiences that they can share and experiences that can be valuable to the community as well. And we love to celebrate all of those different stages and those different milestones that we are achieving together. And your speaking gigs have been really interesting to follow the last couple of months, I would say, especially with your book launch. So I'd love to come back to that in a couple of minutes. In the meantime, Peter has connected as well. Hi, Peter.
Hi,
welcome.
So I had a few little technical issues just joining, but I'm here now.
No worries. We were just doing the introductions. And I'd love for David to continue. David, you are a prime example of what I call a multi-passionate entrepreneur, multi-passionate writer, who is very quick to implement, who is very driven, and has a lot of experiences that you are always excited to share with the community. You've hosted a guest workshop with us just a couple of days ago, which was amazing. Please give us an overview of your journey as the writer, in particular, how you started out on Medium and how you thought of your writing in the beginning versus how you think about it now.
Yeah, I appreciate that. First of all, Mama J is a bundle of joy in the community. So it is so great to, and I encourage anyone who does join the group, participate, right? Really get involved in the conversation. As you can see here, Peter, Mama J, myself, and a few others, we don't dominate the conversation, but we engage all the time. And so it makes it so much more fun. So my name is David Litwin. I am a graphic designer by trade, writer, book writer, songwriter, and script writer by fun. I guess you could probably call it that. And so I've been doing this for about 20 years, and I got onto Medium in 2023 at the very beginning, January. So I kind of made it my New Year's resolution that I was going to jump on Medium and go for it. And within the first, I would say probably like maybe 6 months, I had about 80 followers, I think, something like that. And I was a researcher, so I'm always looking at like, what are other people doing? What's some strategies? And I came across two people online. That was Zuli Rain and Sanem Gunel. And then Zuli Rain and Sanem Gunel did stuff together. So that was even really cool. But in the process, I just really enjoyed what Sanem was talking about. And so I reached out to her directly. That got me into the conversation about Meeting Writing Academy. And, for any of you, obviously, who are looking at it like, okay, is this worth it from the standpoint of finances? Obviously, everything of value costs. And so when I went into that group, I was like, okay, is this going to be an ROI that I can really achieve? And within the first 3 months, I had achieved all the ROI I needed for the entire course for the next 2 years. So, what that was it was not just they teach you to be better writers. They literally teach you to craft your future, especially Right Build Scale. So anyone that's considering like anything in entrepreneurial online space, we're not talking anymore about like, okay, let's just look at this particular article. We're now getting into how do we position the next 3 to 4 years of our lives and do something magical and amazing out of that, and they put on more meetings than any other group I've ever been part of, which is great because I get to see these smiling faces all the time. But it is unbelievable. And I will tell you this, and I wrote this yesterday, this was on Substack, which obviously Right Build Scale is very heavy on Substack as well. For those of you that are worried about writing or that are not sure if writing is the right thing for you, what I wrote yesterday is really what they take you through is the writer's journey. Okay. And so we all go through this process. And in the process of going through the writer's journey, you move from that voice being a voice of condemnation. You can't do this. You're never going to, it's not going to work for you. Why would you try to publish? To a voice of internal inspiration. And I don't know why that is per se, but there's something about writing that opens you up from a, I don't want to sound ethereal about it, but metaphysical standpoint where it just changes. And all of a sudden now it becomes, there's a passage that says the hand of a ready writer, where you're able to say things that the world needs to hear. So I wrote a book called MLK 2.0, which is about finding and fostering your world-shaping idea. And I would say nowhere else have I ever seen that speed of coming up with your world-shaping idea happen than through the writer's journey. So it's not, they don't do that necessarily, you do that, but this is a path to get you there. So I totally encourage you, go for it.
I love that. I actually just had a conversation with one of our newest members yesterday, Julia, and she was also talking about how she is brand new to Medium. I think she has published one article. She has a couple of ideas that she already shared with us in the comment sections. And she already started to be afraid of whether she will have any other ideas, or when she has written those 4 articles, she will basically be done. And I was telling her how I felt the exact same way when I started. I had those couple ideas and I felt like when those are out there, I don't know what else I will have that I want to share. The funny thing is, once you start to write, once you start to get into this mindset of sharing what you learn, what you experience, what you build, and it kind of amplifies when you have those conversations with other people, what happens is that you have more ideas than you can actually evaluate and, finish writing about, because you constantly see ideas, you merge ideas, you think about things in a different way. And what might happen is that your ideas take you in different directions that you have not expected before. I'm sure that all of us being here, we have our topics, but then maybe we had some ideas that have nothing to do with our topics that we didn't expect to come up initially. But it is a spectrum, it is a journey, and I find it extremely valuable to go through that journey together with others, which is why we are so excited to finally kind of merge those 2 offers that we have and welcome people directly into the Right Build Scale membership, because we know how valuable this kind of support and the peer support can be. And Julia also mentioned to me that she was kind of scared of putting herself out there. She joined one of our coaching sessions, the last one last week with me, but she was muted, she was off camera, because it felt almost overwhelming to be in that room full of writers that she, thought highly of, and she felt like you're all ahead of her. But that's the beauty of bringing all of those different kinds of writers together in the same room. You can mute yourself, you can be off camera for a while, but you will step up eventually. If you keep having those conversations, you are in those rooms, you are in the comment sections, you are showing up for yourself, you're sharing your questions, you will start to feel more confident and comfortable. And the more you engage, the more active you are, the more you support others, the more you will be supported as well, right? And that's kind of our mantra. The more questions you ask, the more answers you will get. Yeah. And moving on to Peter, I think this is a great kind of intro for you, Peter, because I actually see David and Peter, I think of you 2 as being quite the opposite of each other, because while I think of Peter as almost being kind of this shouldn't come off negatively, but you overthink your writing a lot, right? You're very detail oriented. You spend a lot of time on the details, on various different aspects, while David is a very quick writer and you just get things out. Doesn't mean one is better than the other. It's just very different. And that's what I love about writing, about, you know, building your own business, being online, is you do whatever suits you. You are on your own journey. You're slower, you're faster. It doesn't matter. There is no right or wrong. What matters is that it feels right for you and that you eventually achieve the milestones that you set for yourself, right? And your process doesn't matter as long as it works for you. Peter, why don't you give us an overview about your journey, how and why you started to write on Medium, and how your journey has evolved ever since?
Yes, sure. I mean, when I said that, I'm sort of on the polar
Wait a
opposite
second. 1 second. Your audio is quite broken. It's not just for me, right?
Yeah.
I
Can you
hear clearly.
switch to another microphone? Now your camera is turned upside down.
It's a good picture.
Wait, Philip, you are muted as well.
Mama J,
You see,
Let's
within
wait for
the
a few
Medium
seconds.
Writing Academy, we meet so often within Zoom rooms where we can really hang out and have a great conversations. And yeah, so we're no longer used to using any other platforms like StreamYard to stream to other platforms.
StreamYard is failing us today, but we'll wait for him to be back.
Otherwise, I can talk his part. Yeah, I've introduced Peter earlier on today to some other inspiring human beings, and I remembered how he introduced himself. But we can share some breadcrumbs. Peter is a published author. His book sold, I think, 4,000 times at least. It's a book called A Few Wise Words, where he interviews some of the most amazing human beings in Europe. And now he's back to hopefully tell us more about his book.
I'm so sorry. I've just got some real technical issues with broadband at the moment, and so let's hope it doesn't cut out again. But I was just saying that the reason why... Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. The reason why I said I was polar opposite to David was that he is somebody who I really admire, who just gets on with things and has a most prolific kind of way of actually just approaching things, in the sense that you just get on and you know, get on to the next project, the next project, the next project. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I always have been, but also I have been very, very busy over the last couple of years with my photography work and other business stuff that I'm doing. And so my aspirations to write on Medium and to do the different things that I want to do now on Substack have been a little bit sort of tempered and slowed down by all the other stuff that I've had to sort of just get through. But thankfully, I'm sort of clearing the decks now to be able to you know, engage more, because I'm conscious that I've only written, I think, 6 or 7 articles on Medium, one of which, of course, is famously done pretty well, which is nice. But but my journey with Medium started really. I was aware of Medium because I was a member and reading a few articles regularly. And then I thought, you know, this is something I'd like to sort of participate in. And I watched a couple of videos. And I also came across Zuli. And then via Zuli, I came across Sinem. And I think it's similar to you, David. I then approached Sinem directly and got involved. And we had a conversation. And I then joined the MWA over a year ago, actually, probably a year and a half ago now. And my kind of Medium, again, because I was so busy, my Medium writing was very, very slow getting going. And there's been a long sort of process of gestation. But then I started to write some articles, and I think all pretty well got boosted. And as I said, one's done pretty well. And I got loads more that are in draft that I'm you know, sort of planning to publish fairly soon, now that I'm sort of clearing the decks of everything else. But what I would say, I totally endorse what David was saying about the value that you get out of being part of this particular community. And I truly value Sinem and your expertise in writing and what you've done with Medium. You're one of Medium's top writers and have been for a long time. and we've all learnt so much from you. Certainly when I started off, I was just all over the place, because I think everyone generally starts all over the place on Medium anyway, not really knowing what you need to do. There is a clear formula, there's a clear way of actually doing writing on Medium successfully, and I think we've all had to learn the ropes. And you can learn it yourself. I mean, what I also admire is that, Sinem, you went through that journey of learning by yourself. I think you said that you did 200 articles before you really sort of got any real traction. Whereas what you're doing now is sharing with us through MWA your wisdom, your knowledge as to what needs to be done, so you don't have to write 200 articles. You can actually then learn from the whole fantastic course you put together what you need to do to be able to get ahead much more quickly. There's lots of pennies to drop with Medium. There's lots of pennies to drop with writing, period. And I think you're an exemplary example of someone who can really help everyone to really get into into the zone and into the flow of writing on Medium. So I'm really grateful for that. Philip, of course, I've got to know you more latterly, and mostly through the Right Build Scale, which is obviously then taking what I've been learning from Medium to upscale that into the solopreneur kind of writing career, which I've now mapped out for myself. I'm very excited about. But my journey started in writing a little while ago, because as you mentioned, I published a book in 2020, which has done quite well, called A Few Wise Words. And it's been a mission of mine to be able to go out and promote myself as author, to be able to share more of the concepts and more of the ideas that the book revolves around with other people. Because the book itself is about my journey of meeting with some very, very successful, extraordinarily sort of well-known and successful individuals from all different walks of life, and encourage them to then share their knowledge, their wisdom, to then share with younger people as to what they can do to help them to get going on their journey in life, basically, and find success and fulfillment in life and happiness in life. So all these amazing people have talked about their own journeys, and then have shared their values and their advice via the book. And I'm working on now the second volume. So that was done about 5 years ago, but I've just been so busy with so many things that I haven't really been able to give it the attention that it deserves to promote it properly. And that's why I've decided to go down the Medium journey as well, and now through WBS and into Substack, which is very exciting. I can see a very clear path now towards actually promoting myself as author, promoting the book, and joining the zeitgeist, really, of getting yourself known within the world as a writer. And I believe I can write, and I think I've proven that a little bit on Medium. I've proven that with the book, but I need to now be able to go on to the next level, really, and really get out there. Because I have another book published. We've got the audible version coming out shortly as well.
Your audio is broken again.
Oops.
Your audio is broken again, Peter, but thank you so much for your take. We really appreciate that. And most of all, we are super happy to have you within our community, because you're also someone that we learned a lot from. I was opening YouTube in the background, and I see one question from Bill, or it's not a question, but it's a statement, where he says he wants to, or he has published a lot, but doesn't get much traction on Medium. And he says something like, there's a lot of information out there, but it's hard to know what works and how to do it. Here's the thing. We are living in a time where thanks to YouTube and ChatGPT, almost any information possible is available to you. So success on Medium nowadays has nothing, and I really mean nothing, to do with knowing what to do on Medium. It's all about showing you step by step how to implement those things. And that's what Sinem has perfected over the last 5 years. You can get all the information from articles, from YouTube videos, but you will very likely struggle with implementing them. If you want to work with Sinem, it's like taking a shortcut, because she's taking you by the hand and showing you step by step how to make those things work. And the cool thing then is you're not only hearing from her, but you're also hearing from an active community of people who are doing this every single day. And even once when you are at the point where you've mastered Medium and you want to publish on other platforms, no matter if it's Substack, if it's LinkedIn or whatsoever, you also have your peer group of people around that will help you work on those things, so that you will never need to walk this quite tough way alone.
Yeah, and honestly, what I've been thinking while Peter was talking is, as he was talking about my journey of kind of figuring this out by myself, going into research and testing and trying for years, what has definitely changed over the years is that things are just changing faster and faster. And the changes that are happening, especially on Medium right now, are not as clear as platform changes that might have happened in the past. When we spend a lot of the coaching sessions with me talking about the Boost program, for example, right? The Boost program is a human curation process, which means there are rules and boundaries, but there is a huge human element that just goes into it naturally because it's human decision makers. And with that in place, for me, it's even more important to have these conversations, because you cannot put all those learnings and lessons into articles and videos. So yes, you can find a lot of information out there. The problem is a lot of that information is very, very outdated, and a lot of that information is not based on data that is actually viable and reliable right now. And actually, the three of you being here, JB, Peter, David, all three of you have actually made it through that transition as well. I mean, Peter, you haven't published before the Boost program, but you've been aware of what's been going on.
Yeah.
David and JB, I think you have been publishing before as well, and you have seen how things have changed, right? JB, you have been publishing with Better Humans, for example, right? And your content has been getting quite great traction there. What happened is Better Humans has been put on a pause. Suddenly, you had to look for other outlets and places. And that's just, things like that happen on Medium all the time. It happens on any platform, right? Platforms are changing, platforms are evolving. What you have to do is stay up to date and make sure you kind of pivot as quickly as possible. And that's a huge element that we are able to incorporate into Right Build Scale, because we are meeting up, we are talking, we are sharing experiences. All of you are sharing experiences, and we're able to update each other much faster than if we were to update a course that is just out there and that people are completing by themselves.
What's so lovely about the community as well is that, sorry, David, what's so lovely about the community as well is that, you know, apart from learning from you, Sinem, and you, Philip, I'm also learning from David and Mama J as well, and other people within our community. And that's what it's all about, really. It's a shared experience. And I think the one thing that I really wanted to convey before I got sort of cut myself off again was the fact that in this whole journey with MWA, the thing that's really impressed me so much is the way in which we do work well as a community. And, you know, whereas one thinks you're on a sort of a solo journey, we all are in a way in our own individual writing. It's the leverage that we can get out of, you know, all our friends within this community that can help us so much to be able to have those pennies dropping, as I was talking about earlier, where you actually do improve massively as you go along through the peer contribution, through the, you know, obviously listen to Sin and listen to Philip and listen to others who've gone before. I mean, I haven't sort of written that much yet on Medium, as you know, and I respect, you know, JB has been around for a while, publishing articles, and has had a lot of experience in doing that as well. And I think it's just being able to go in with that flow with the community is so valuable to me.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just looking at the comments. I'm not sure if you guys are seeing it, but I think this is also an important aspect of why, you know, having that community experience is so valuable. We have this question in the chat asking why publish on Medium if algorithms will sooner or later change my ranking. you can apply this question to any platform and any way that you might want to get traction on any kind of work you have out there. You can say the same about having your own website, about having, whatever platform that is out there. The truth is that platforms are meant to change, and you have to go with the changes, because even if you have your own website and you have traction on there, you have traffic, which is much harder to build than on Medium, your traffic might be gone from one day to the other. What Medium allows you to do is you start from zero, but you have the chance to reach a lot of readers within a very short time span, which you cannot do on your own website. And honestly, what we always encourage our students to do is, as soon as you feel confident publishing on Medium, we encourage you to build your email list, because that's how you actually build an audience that you can take with you to other places. And that is a recommendation that you should follow, no matter if you are on Medium, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, or whatever, because no matter what you do, no matter how you want to build your audience, you are not going to do the exact same thing for the next 5 years. You are going to pivot, you're going to change, you're going to go with the changes. And the more places you have that you can ask for feedback, the more conversations you have on these changes happening, the more you can actually, the better you can adapt, because you'll never be in that void where you keep doing the same thing without actually seeing the results you've been seeing.
Yeah, I was going to say, from the standpoint of Medium Writing Academy, and then why write on Medium, or why take MWA, I think that what you can learn, going back on what Philip said, which was the whole concept of going to YouTube and just discovering what's out there and just learning from other people. You can do that, and you can learn the mechanics of online writing, but you won't learn the mechanics of online writing success. And that's what they bring to the table, is the ability to condition your writing and your writing style in a way that is successful across all platforms. So for me personally, I'm not writing a lot on Medium anymore, but I still would recommend joining the Medium Writing Academy or Write, Build, Scale. But even if it was just if all you had was Medium Writing Academy, you're going to learn all the principles necessary to be an effective writer on Substack. And then when you get to Write, Build, Scale, or you move and advance even beyond that, you're going to then basically learn all of the foundational learnings and strategies for how to write on Substack, how to craft notes. And so, it was so easy. They literally, Philip and Sanem and Yari moved over to Substack not that long ago, and they've given us just advice after advice after advice and strategy after strategy to become successful there. And so, I've built 2 publications on Substack because, like they said, I don't do anything small. But it's been essential from that standpoint. So yes, if you wanted to answer Bill's question, there's so much information out there. There is. And I've done a lot of research on all of it online before I joined Medium Writing Academy, then Write, Build, Scale, and then beyond. And I would say there's nothing better out there. And then the community side of it takes it completely over the top, because now you are learning from other people, but you're embracing 2 things that I think is essential. You're embracing the critique aspect of the group and the writing opportunities, and you're embracing vulnerability. And when you can embrace critique and you can embrace your own vulnerability, you absolutely will soar on either one, especially Medium, because they really want you to be very vulnerable, because it is human writers. So it's not algorithm based from that perspective, or human judgers of your work, if you will, from the Boost program. But the more vulnerable you are and the more you can take critique, the more you move into that writer's journey, the more opportunity you have to really grow as a writer. And nothing does that better than these 2.
Yeah.
I mentioned before that what I love about JB's journey in particular was how you are bringing together different worlds. In your case, it's partly the online and the offline world. And I think this is becoming more and more interesting for a lot of people too. Like when you have an offline business, or when you want to also connect with people in real life, in your community, or maybe in different parts of the world, how can you also take your writing or use your writing to basically attract opportunities and to get invited to, be in the places that you want to be? And in your case, JV, I know that your book has been a great opportunity for you to connect with more people, to share your message with more people. And now you kind of have this great resource that you can continue to repurpose, reuse on different platforms. Tell us a bit more about how you are kind of using those two worlds, the online world, the offline world, speaking gigs in different parts of the world. I know the last one didn't turn out very well, but you got back home safely. How is that combination working out for you?
Yes, thank you. Apart from hurricanes, it's working out very well. So yeah, before I joined Medium Writers Academy, I was actually totally in an offline world because I worked in prison and everything that I did was just physical. So, that the online world didn't exist. And one of the reasons I joined the academy was because I've tried a lot of masterminds and I've tried a lot of academies over the last 3 years. And what I saw about the MWA and Right Bill Scale is the authenticity that you bring to it. So for me, for instance, one of the reasons why I haven't published on Medium for a little while, and I was doing really well and got into the Boost program and I was earning a little bit every month as well, is because I published my book. But why I'm saying this is because when it came to the time to publish my book and to launch my book, MWA helped me with that. So immediately, I wanted to do a crowdfund. So Philip was like, yeah, I can do some coaching around that. I can help you with that. And that's what I found was like the authenticity of helping you as an entrepreneur or as a writerpreneur or contentpreneur, whatever you want to call yourself. They bring that, even if they haven't got the expertise, they're willing to help you to get to where you need to be. And I nearly gave up on that crowdfund. I'd done such a lot of work and I was just so exhausted. And it was really because of Philip that I went that extra mile. He was like, well, why would you give up now when you've done such a lot? And I launched my book on crowdfund platform. I raised £7,000. I paid for all my publishing costs. So like the book doesn't owe me anything. And now I've got a book in the world. And now through the writing and through the book, then people want me to speak at places and I get invited. I've been invited to do guest publications as well. And I realized that actually I have a unique voice. We all have a unique voice. And what Right Bill Scale did for me, or Medium Writers Academy, both, I forget which one, but anyway, the stuff that Cinema and Philip are doing, basically what that did for me is really help me to hone that voice and to not be shy about it and to find my own place with that and to keep going with that. And that, even when I stopped writing on Medium for a while, that was okay, because actually this content is being used here and I'm being encouraged here and so on. And I might come back to Medium. It's on the list. But I always feel like, actually, to go back to that question of why write on Medium, because it's a place where you can be public. And when you get public with anything that you're doing, whether it's writing or building a course, you stop writing and building courses for yourself and you start doing it for the people that you're meant to be serving. You start to see, oh yeah, actually I write in this style, but no one can actually understand me. And you start to be able to hone your craft. So when you write on your own website, you're really just speaking to yourself and the people that you love. But when you write on a platform like Medium, you get to see real time, like, is that working? Isn't that working? You get to experiment. And you also get over the shyness of putting stuff out there, because we all have that, like, oh, I don't know whether I should publish this or not. But once you start publishing, that's it. You just keep going. And David pointed out about Sinem writing 200 articles, and then we can take the shortcuts by learning from her. But I don't see it like that. I think you have to still put that shift in and write, 200 articles and keep going. And what MWA gives you is you keep going. Whereas it's so easy to give up after 5 or 10 or 50 or 49, because you're like, oh, I'm not getting anywhere. But being in a community of people who can help you and support you and help you hone gives you that ability to keep going. I'm on a different platform, an audio platform, where I produce audio courses, and I'm supported by Philip and Sinem with that. And actually, I would have given up a long time ago, because I was not seeing traction. I was getting worried. And Philip keeps saying it took Sinem a year to make it on Medium. So I'm like, oh, well, I can't give up until at least a year then. So it just helps having people in your corner, and also having people like me who are like trying stuff, and other people. The other thing I wanted to mention is, and you interview people and you bring people in that are so inspiring, and you get to see, oh, like, we've heard from Tony Stubblebine, and we've heard from other people, and you get to see, oh, that's what they're really saying live, real time. And so you get to adjust, because all platforms change, and they always will. But you also get this sort of ability that there's a first mover advantage. So because they're interested in platforms, because they're interested in tech, they're able to go, like David's mentioned Substack many times. Oh, right, okay, here's a place where we could focus our efforts. So you get that advantage of being able to jump onto that. It's so diverse, not just in people and expertise, but in what you can do with your abilities.
I'd like to ask a question of the people who are on here right now, all the people that are in chat. How many of you have been part of a group, like a mastermind or anything like that, where the person who's running it knows they're really, really good, and like they're an expert, and they kind of talk down to you in the process, like you're just learning from them? Anyone out there? I just kind of want to get a feel of that, because what I want to say is that these two are absolute experts. They never act that way. I've never had a situation with Sinem or Philip where it's like, oh, why don't you know that already? Or, oh, let me teach you what that is. It's always a learning process that you're engaged in. And they're so selfless. I've told this to Sinem a number of times. It's like, you don't have to spend this much time with us. Like, you really don't. Like, if you was once a week, and I think it was that time, it was like 2 to 3 times a week. It was like, I'm like, I don't have this much time. Like, I don't know how you guys do. So, but it's just been incredible. So yeah, so Get Published Forever said he's been talked down to before, and Bruce has said the same thing. And it's one thing that you're going to get out of this group. And I've had, I've got a podcast as well. I've had Sinem on the podcast. I've had Philip on the podcast. I've had Peter on the podcast, and Mama J is about to be on the podcast in the next couple of weeks. So I don't want to say that without knowing that she's obviously going to be on. We talked about it. So these are friends. I mean, these are friends across the pond, all the way across the other side of the world for me. But regardless of that, it's been amazing. I have Peter and I talk once or twice a month, just directly. And so that's what this is all about, right? This is not about like, you're going to get some information and it's going to make you successful, which is why I kind of joined. Like, I was like, okay, I get some information, I'll become successful. And that happened, but so much more happened as well.
I love that you mentioned that, David, because I do think it's very hard for a lot of people to create that space where you can be open about questions as well. And that's part of why we've been running Write Build Scale as it is now for more than 1.5 years, until we decided how can we bring people together that are at the very beginning of this journey, and people who already have a decent amount of experience or a lot of experience, like some of you as well. And I genuinely believe you learn most when the group is diverse, because you can give feedback to each other regardless of whether you've been writing for a week, a year, or 10 years. And what I love to say is there are no stupid questions, no obvious answers to questions, because if you have a question at the beginning of your journey, whatever it is, it could be very basic about setting up your profile on Medium, it could be related to publications, whatever it is, if you have a question, someone else probably has it too. And by you sharing that question with the community, you are doing a service to all the other people who have the question as well. But you have to be brave enough to put that question out there. And, you know, sometimes we discuss the same things over and over again until it just clicks for everybody. It's really important we create that kind of learning environment where we all feel supported and connected. And what I love about the community is that we are able to host all these different kinds of sessions so that you get to pick the sessions you want to join. You get to decide if you want to invest more time on your writing right now, or if you go into the business sessions with Philip, if you go into the interviews and expert sessions, if you go into the hot seats. A lot of people forget that on this journey, you are going to evolve. Ideally, you are going to go through those different stages. You are going to need one kind of support now. And after a couple of months, after a couple weeks even, you will need a different kind of support. You will need different kinds of resources. And being in this constant conversation helps us to actually provide that kind of support.
Yeah. And, you know, I've hosted 2 classes or two groups already, right? One on AI and one on, well, both on AI, but one on AI from a visual standpoint using Midjourney, and then one on understanding the AI podcast feature of Notebook LM. And they gave me that opportunity, and I was able to share with, you know, a fairly large crowd of people my knowledge and my understanding of these things. And so it's not just, even if you think you're like, okay, I'm an expert at this or this, and maybe this isn't for me, there will be people in that group that will need to know what you have to say and what you have to provide. So I encourage you, like, whatever stage you're on in this thing, like, jump in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you know, it's like you mentioned about us being friends. Like I can reach out to, I mean, I've reached out to both of you guys and other people, and people reach out to me, and that's one of the things. It's like I've had conversations with people in the community on my own, like in Zoom, and we've shared knowledge and whatever. And you know, Peter just recently introduced me to Perplexity, and you know, we had a conversation about that. It's so supportive, and it's not just Sinem and Philip. It's that they've created this environment where we can support each other and help each other. And if you get stuck, like, there's always somebody to reach out to. And lots of people I've seen over the time say, oh, you know, I took a break, and then when they come back, it's so easy to come back because life happens, right? And we get busy, and then you end up going, oh, I'm not in that community anymore, and I'm an outsider. But actually what I've noticed is people come back and go, oh, I've been out of it, and they get welcome back, and they get up to speed. I haven't even finished all the videos from MWA and Right Bill Scale. Like I can't even keep up with the amount of content there is. But I don't even try. Like, I go at my pace. I take what I need. I support my fellow peers as much as I can. And then I get on with my life. And, you know, I don't feel guilty about that. I feel like I've incorporated this community into my life and into my business, and that's one of the pleasures of it. It's not something where I have to show up, and if I don't, I'll get penalized. Actually, I love showing up because it's so much fun as well.
Yeah, we love having you inside, and I actually really appreciate what you have said about not trying to keep up with all the new stuff that is happening and that is out there, because that is actually also something that's really important to us, right? When you join us at Medium Writing Academy now, you get access to the entire course library that we have there. And if you want to write on Medium and do well on Medium, we recommend that you go through every single video and exercise that is in there. In addition to that, we will always have our bonus sessions. We will have our live events. We will have additional workshops. That's what's happening in the Write, Build, Scale community. And I just want to explain this real quickly because we have a question asking whether MWA is a subscription. MWA is not a subscription. You join the course and you have lifetime access to the course. What we are giving you right now with the MWA community experience is we are inviting you to the Write, Build, Scale community, which is a subscription, and you are getting free access to it for your first 3 months. This is included in your purchase with Medium Writing Academy now. After the 3 months, you can decide whether you want to stay with us or not. If you enjoy working with us, if you enjoy having that peer support, if you enjoy joining the sessions, you will love to stay connected and you will love to continue. If you want to do it on your own after the 3 months, you can totally do that. And it's not a subscription payment coming up again.
Plus, you get to hang with us. We're a lot of fun.
Exactly. Yeah. And I also want to quickly just say, I know we have a few people in the chat and in the crowd right now who have already joined us. So I see Bruce, for example, who has been watching the entire session now. If you already joined us in the Medium Writing Academy community experience, make sure to introduce yourself to the community as well. I know you've got a lot of confirmation emails. There's a lot of different resources that you get access to, but introduce yourself so everyone in there knows who you are and what your goals are as well. We just had a couple of people introducing themselves so far, so we're looking forward to learning more about our newest members in there as well. Yeah, we're coming to an end. Philip, do you have any final words? Is there anything you want to share before we say goodbye?
I want to just remind people to just give it a try. Not because we're offering a money back guarantee if you really don't see anything of what we are promising you work, but because I strongly believe that making a decision now to invest in yourself can change the whole trajectory of what's going to come in the next couple of years. And I can also tell you not only that the course is top notch, but also that the community is supportive, and most importantly, that you will have a lot of fun. I mean, you can ask Mama J, you can ask David, you can ask Peter. People come for the content, but they stay for the community. And one of the reasons is because people want to advance in their careers and people want to have fun doing so. If we don't want to have fun while working, we would not be online writers. We would work for any corporate or do anything like that. So give it a try. We would be happy to work with you. If not, it's also totally fine. But I strongly believe that we've built an amazing program, especially Sinem with all her expertise, and Peter, David, Mama J representing all the other amazing members of the community. I think it's a cool opportunity, and I invite you to give it a try.
Yeah, we would love to welcome you inside. We have doors open at Medium Writing Academy for the community experience until tomorrow. So you can go to mediumwritingacademy.com, sign up right now. You will immediately get access to the entire course. You will get access to the community. You will be able to introduce yourself, to say hi to Jacqueline and to David and to all the others who are waiting there, who will be excited to learn more about you and to support you on this journey.
Let me quickly pick up the one last question from Bruce. He asked, here's a question I always ask myself, what's possible now? Honestly speaking, a lot is possible now. David became a bestseller on Medium and a successful author on Udemy, earning 5 figures in super quickly time. JB published a book, is on the edge of becoming one of the most outstanding Inside Timer teachers, and is also launching a community. Peter wrote one of the most successful Medium articles of this year, if not of all times. There's a lot of possible, honestly speaking. Even if you are planning on launching a digital business, 6 months from now, you can be completely in a different spot than you are right now. So to answer the question, almost everything is possible. You just need to show up and implement those things that you are learning.
Yeah, and I think Bruce just said, I'm looking forward to meeting all of you. We're looking forward to meeting you inside the community and in our live sessions happening very soon. We are kicking off the Medium Writing Academy community experience with a lot of dedicated coaching sessions. Of course, you too will be able to join them as well if you want to hang out with us. But we also have our usual sessions. So once you are logged into your community area, you will be able to see our full calendar with lots of events going on, and you will be able to decide which ones you want to join. Thank you so much for joining us, Jacqueline, David, everyone who's been in the comments, who has been watching. If you have any other questions, feel free to use the comments. We'll go back to the comment section the next day so we can follow up if there are any questions. And yeah, I am looking forward to seeing you two in one of the upcoming coaching sessions, in one of the upcoming expert sessions. And I hope that we will see many new faces inside the community so we can continue to do and build amazing stuff together.
Love it. See you soon,
Thank
Bruce.
you. Bye.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Bye, everyone.
Bye.